So welcome to Root University. As I mentioned a minute ago, this is the highest Root U has ever been performed at about 10,000 feet in the mountains of Colorado. So when you're this high in the high mountain desert, it's important to take care of your skin. And last week we took some time to talk about tea mist. So today, and such, sometimes gets wrinkled over time. No one likes unsightly wrinkles. So what Dr. Rahm has done is put together a combination of ingredients that will help rejuvenate the appearance of your lips and get rid of some of those fine lines and wrinkles. And because of how this mechanism works, while it says pucker performance, it's working on the skin of your lips, which also means you can apply it to other parts of your skin. Primarily, one would think around their eyes. Now, you can play with it as you wish, whether it's on the sides, crow's feet and such. So today we're going to get into some of the ingredients, actually a lot of the ingredients. And once again, I have to thank the team for putting my email address on the label of all the products. I'm so excited to have that. So you can see that there's a few different extracts here that are quite unique as we go through these. And some that have chemical names, and I believe what we're going to look at is each of those chemicals and how they apply and what they see. But the important part that you see over on the right side is really crucial in the design of all these. The products, all the skincare products, are cruelty-free. They're vegan. So vegans, don't make a meal out of these. It's not really for consumption. It's for topical use. But they're gluten-free. Yay! As well as paraben-free. And a lot of people from a skincare standpoint don't like parabens, so there's no parabens in here. But there's many good things. Some of the benefits, as we hit on initially, moisturization of your lips and your skin. And as Dr. Rahm went over last week with the importance of the tea mist, which really drives moisture and helps detoxify your skin topically. Moisture specifically to your lips is also really important. Hence, you've got pucker performance. It's going to assist in the minimization of the smile lines and the vertical lip lines and the creases you get around your lips. And this is something that you're going to see over time with prolonged, consistent use, not with one time. It even enhances your lip color and the vibrance of your lips. So your natural lip color. So if you want red and fuchsia, sorry, not going to get you there. But it will make your lips stand out. It's going to increase the plumpness. So you're actually going to see the volume increase in your lips, which is one that I think is going to become quite popular. And we will confirm this with Dr. Rahm. I don't think there's an issue with how many times you can use this per day. And with the combination of the menthol and a few of the other components that increase circulation, that are driving moisture into the lips, it's going to increase volume, but it's also increasing blood flow, which is where the improved circulation comes in. So you get outside and inside. And it's important also to look at this as we know that skin is a reflection of your internal environment. So everything that we're doing on the outside is actually amplified by the rest of the product siblings with Clean Slate, Zero In, Restore, Give Me Back My Youth, a lot in conjunction with Clean Slate. But Immune Defense Shield, Natural Barrier Support, and Relive Greens. Go back to the plumpness, Jayla. So let's look at some of these ingredients. And for the record, those are not my lips. So as we touched on last week, if you go to the EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group, they have the safety database for ingredients. And you can take the time if you want and go to ewg.org/skin deep and do your own research. One of the fun things to do is actually take all the ingredients of the stuff that you have been using and compare them side by side. So first, we look at glycerin. And what is glycerin? Well, it's derived from different vegetable oils and animal fats. They have tremendous benefits to the skin. And as we went over before, they're cruelty-free and they help hydrate the outer layer of the skin. And as you can see, they're extremely extremely safe. Looking at the 1 to 2 range, right? So they're green and they're very, very good and high quality. And the important part as we look at these ingredients, sourcing is everything. So it's important to understand that while some of these ingredients that we'll get into, somebody might raise a question and say, well, what about this one? Because I read on Google that it has an issue. Once you've finished your background in bioscience engineering and biology, and you have a couple PhDs in research and medical science and clinical science, please send your questions to us and we'd love to compare your data. But until then, we're going to rely on the resident expert who does hold the master's in science, the PhD, the PsyD, the EDD, the postdoctoral work at Harvard in nanotechnology and bioscience engineering, and has been in biotech for a long time. Next, almond oil. This just in, almond oil is derived from nuts, specifically almonds. And now this is great because we're not making almond milk, which is very hard to milk almonds. You've probably seen this. But almond oil is a great moisturizer. It helps lighten scarring, which is interesting, you know, around your lips and such. If you've had injuries in the past, it can be supportive in, you know, tissue regeneration, in conjunction with clean slate and give me back my youth. Not a bad idea. Topical almond oil has been good for, you know, preventing the structural damage caused by UV radiation, and it's useful in decelerating photoaging, right? So when you look at the ingredients, you're going to see multiple pathways, you know, of moisturization and skin rejuvenation and regeneration. And you have to apply the science that these have topically in conjunction, like I was saying, with the siblings of what goes on internally. Oh, I have a little bird hanging out with me. Oh, if this bird tries to poop on me, we're going to have problems. Next is peppermint oil. And it's funny, peppermint oil is a 4. Why? Because menthol and peppermint oil can actually be hot to the skin if you use too much of it, right? So a couple things. One, you have to use the highest quality peppermint oil and menthol because you don't want cheap stuff. And for a little hint for everybody, if you want a little history lesson, the best peppermint actually comes from right outside my hometown in the state of Washington. And it's great for helping soothe the skin. The menthol in the skin actually increases blood flow, which is where menthol has been used for a lot of pain relieving gels and pain relief. Topical use. It's outstanding. It's one of my favorite essential oils. And by opening up the pores, it's going to help drive in a lot of the moisturizers. And as you can see in the highlight below, it's very safe. It just depends on how much you use. I could tell you stories of complications of people using peppermint oil that got into areas that you wouldn't want. Hello, doctor. We've gone through a couple, but we're talking about vitamin E.
You know how much I love vitamin E.
Well, I'm going to let you take over because you're more scientific than I am.
So vitamin E has been used for years. I will say it's not one of the earlier vitamins. It probably came really into fruition about 20 to 30 years ago. There didn't used to be a lot of research on it. However, when they started looking into it, they started seeing how important it was for the inflammation of the inside and the outside of the body. One of the things they caught was the fact that it really helps the skin. It really helps with UV exposure and stuff like that. You'll see a lot of this in the skin protective spray that we're working on, or that I'm working on, that we should have by Fashion Week. But one of the goals I always have is, again, to help the skin heal. We can't make that claim because we don't make claims, but it's not just about what the skin looks like. Of course, if your skin's healthy, then it usually looks good. However, there's some people that have autoimmune disorders or have diseases or have things that affect the skin, and vitamin E and vitamin A are two things that really help with things like that because of the TNFA factor and how they really influence the skin. I wish I had Ram Mathis on here. He could talk about that because we did a lot of work on that at Biogen IDEC. But the great thing about this is a natural product. It's not something that's synthetic.
So something to speak to that, just real quick. You're saying that the pharmaceutical industry and the biotech industry uses a lot of natural components, but uses an attempt to synthesize them.
It depends on if you do a human monoclonal antibody or what kind of product you're working on, but they use synthetic mechanisms typically, whereas in the nutraceutical industry, we're using natural things, especially at root, to really help your body. But we are focusing on understanding that wellness is the first step to health, right? And how important it is in the whole process. You can see with this next product, we use the olive fruit extract. That was important because we all know most of us know how many antioxidants are in the olive oil, but the olive fruit extract also has a different component than the actual oil. And it could help even more with certain things in the skin, like protecting the skin, the wounds, and also, just so you guys know, the fruit can actually really help with the signs of aging. The oil does as well, but the fruit contains that oil.
Portulaca pilosa? Hold on.
It's
Was
a
this
very
created-
potent antioxidant.
Was this created by Nancy Pelosi?
No.
Oh, okay, good, good, because that would not be healthy.
I want to go to you guys can see everything that's highlighted in bold. It talks about how this really helps as far as improving the natural defense of the skin. And I want to go back to this lip product. Obviously was made for the lips, but also around the lips to help with that, to help with the crepey look, right? And you can see this, it helps rejuvenate the skin when it becomes lax or crepey. I always also use it around my eyes. You can't get too close to your eyes because of the fact that it can sting a little bit because of the ingredients. I also sometimes use this on my neck and my chest. So you just need a little bit, guys, when you're using it. But this is a very potent antioxidant, which is why I used it. I wanted something that could really help again with the looks of aging, but also the improvement and the natural defense of the skin. Like today, we're skiing. We skied for an hour. Hour and a half,
Yeah.
almost two.
Yeah.
And your skin gets extremely dry. My lips get extremely dry. These are things that will help you during that process.
There's something to be said to be sexy on the slopes.
Yeah, I wanted to add really quick about the last one. This is also used as a skin whitening agent. I've used it in other products that I've worked on. So it won't whiten your lips, just so you guys know. But if you did use it throughout your skin on different brown spots, it could help with that as well. So for example, I get brown spots here and here, and sometimes I'll put those on my skin.
Coffee's got benefits topically.
I love coffee.
Oh, yes.
Especially-
Don't we know Rahm roast is coming?
That's right. So one of the things people don't understand about coffee is that it actually boosts collagen production. It can firm the skin. A lot of you guys drink coffee, but you don't think of the benefit it has to the actual skin. It improves the texture. Again, this helps with UV rays. I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the spray and the lips, that was one of my goals, is to really help people, because I've had so many types of skin cancer. That's always a concern of mine. And I don't love a lot of the products that have the UV protected in it, because a lot of those are not good for you and they're synthetic. And this is a natural way you can use things that can help protect the skin. We can't make the claim again, because we have to be very careful when it comes to making the claim that this product protects the skin from all UV rays. But that was my thought process in making this particular product.
So with the introduction of Rahm roast, after you've made your amazing espresso or however you want your cup of coffee, because of the benefits we're talking about here and how amazing Rahm roast beans are because of how they're treated and how quality they are, could you actually take the grounds with a little bit of maybe sea salt and some coconut oil and use it as a salt scrub?
Yes, but you could also take the actual coffee and make a mask out of it. You could use the Relive greens or the Restore, or you could just use different products you have in your kitchen. I don't want to leave this slide deck yet though, or this slide, because I really want to point out, if you look at that first bullet, it talks about a study that they use these beans to significantly lower the clinical scores for skin dryness and decreased basically transepidermal water loss, because you lose water as you age. Also with the pH of the skin surface. And again, it helps with hydration and skin blood flow. And if you look down even further, it helps with microcirculatory function, which is extremely important, as well as skin permeability barriers. That's all very important to your skin. So you're really protecting your mouth. Things come in through the mouth. I want to say this again. Everyone worries about stay 6 feet apart or all the stuff we went through during the pandemic. This is the issue. your mouth does take in viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungus, heavy metals. So does your skin. So you've got to be very protective of your mouth and very protective of the skin. You've got to create a barrier here and not just on the inside of your body.
Okay, so hold on. These are like scientific names. Palmitoyl tripeptide 5 and 38. What are these? These are chemicals, but they're safe. What is going on?
Yeah, this helps really activate the skin receptors and the collagen in your skin. This particular tripeptide could be negative if you made it in the wrong way. However, in a positive way, it just really helps with the response of the skin receptors so that it will absorb into the skin cells. And that's why I used it. I also used 38 because it was really important. And many of you guys know that in my background, with different things, when you use human monoclonal antibodies, you build like a scaffold to really communicate inside the body to stop or cure certain diseases. The problem is it will backfire if you use unnatural materials. This is a particular tripeptide that's very good, very safe for the skin. It boosts the skin repair, and again, it goes in and helps the skin. Any of you guys that think just because it doesn't have a thick part to this lip plumper, don't think that it's not working. It absolutely works. The goal is to improve the health and wellness of the skin. You know, I can't say that.
You can't say ergothioneine.
You know, I have a hard time with that.
Oh, so
This is an
ergo.
This is an antioxidant that you really get from black, red beans, oat bran, and mushrooms. You have to source the right kind because, again, this is one of those things that if you don't source it the right way, it can actually have negative effects. And I want to point that out because it's like everything. You have to be really careful. You guys saw in the last slide deck where I talked about aloe vera can even be negative, right? So you just got to make sure you're sourcing it from the right place. This particular ingredient was used because, again, you want to help the skin have oxygen and you want to have it produce regenerative energy. So the goal was to put this in and really help with that rescalping and regeneration. Again, we have to be very careful, but that was why I used the ingredient. There's tons of research on it. Jayla found this article here, which I happen to really like. It talks about how it increases the amount of antioxidant genes. And I think that's really important to talk about. But it also talks about that it's dose dependent and time dependent. So that's why when people ask me how many times they use this, the more you use it, the better your skin will respond and the more protective this will be for the skin. And again, this does also help with UV protective.
So you should use it every 5 minutes.
I don't use it every 5
Oh,
minutes. So
let's get into some language.
I used a type of vegetable oil that came from very, very healthy vegetables. I'm extremely careful of that. I wanted to use an emulsion. I looked at everything from MCT, which is part of this. And also I wanted to use carrots and stuff like that. So
why'd you use carrot oil?
because it's really skin protective as well. But I did it under the Tridecep 6. You see that I never say it right.
Tridecep 6 is actually an extract from carrots that provides
from different types of vegetable oil. You can get it, you can isolate it from different types of vegetables. You take the oil out. We also used a mineral oil, or I did, to really help with the chappedness of the skin. I was really worried about that. I have always had chapped skin. And when you have chapped skin, again, the problem is that's a sign of your age in your skin. So I wanted to put something in here that would really help with that, that was very healthy. I also used a type of organic salt in it. And I also used a type of fatty acid to make sure that I would really help seal in and defend the skin. And so everything you see on here are derived from salt or minerals or vegetables.
what? So you're saying that like sea salt are
You
really
know
high
that.
trace
Kate.
minerals and good for you.
You
What?
know that.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Look at what's Sucrose, Cocoate. Comes from coconuts.
Yeah. So
Tetrasodium
hey,
EDTA.
Jayla, can you go back? Because I haven't even been pointing out if you look at this, these show the level of safety. It's anywhere from 1 to 3.
And the
So like
mineral oil.
aloe vera is a 3, for example, because it can be negative. Same with the mineral oil. If you go up to a higher level, 3 is still safe. 1 and 2 are better. So I used, obviously, with the aloe vera and the mineral oil, I was very selective in what I chose. We can go to the next slide because people are always asking about safety. I thought you had control of the slides. I forgot for a second.
No.
So if you look at this slide, I thought this was very interesting. I wanted to be able to point out that we used a sucrose coconut, basically acid. You guys can tell I like to use a lot of coconut. We also used, or I used a potassium sorbate. And I also used a chelating agent because I wanted to help with the ions that were in the actual ingredients for the lips. And also I used a skin conditioning agent that came from a natural anti-microbial preservative. So we could get more into that later if you guys want to know. It has a safety rating of 1. The last one was one I was extremely careful with. It's preservative and it needs to be used because you've got to have some kind of preservative. I could have left it out, but instead I was able to source it with a 2 rating. So as you can see, it can go from 2 to 4, but we have a 2 rating on that for the lips. All right. I know this is a short one today. We know that this is Christmas week. We almost canceled it, but we wanted to make sure we got this out to everyone. We also wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I think we'll probably talk to you guys before New Year's, but if not, we really wanted to be able to say hi to the root community and tell you once again how thankful we are for all of you. I have to be honest with you, I'm extremely happy this week. I get to see my kids.
How do we get rid of the share screen? Jayla, can you end that?
And typically I don't see enough of my own family. So I've been trying to focus on them this week. I have been trying to get back to all of you guys that have reached out to me as well. But we are getting to have a little family time. So we're extremely happy about that.
You know what this is good for?
What? The mistletoe?
Or you should try it.
Oh my gosh, there's Patrick. I miss Patrick.
The mountains look so good on you guys. Oh my gosh. Get
No,
out there
I
and
have
go
been on the
ski.
mountain.
I got really hurt, Patrick. The first day I got hit really hard and knocked unconscious by a snowboarder.
She cracked 3 teeth
Clayton told
got
me.
knocked
I
in the
can't
ribs.
believe that.
and she's still going.
I know.
I couldn't breathe. Clayton, the first thing I remember is Clayton yelling at the guy.
I almost committed homicide on the mountain. They would not have found this dude.
Patrick.
What this stuff is really good for, and this is really important, guys, to understand. It's Christmas time. You want stocking stuffers, you get this because this is what this stuff does. It makes your lips kissable.
Oh, Dr. Rahm, it's so good to see that smile.
We are thankful for you guys. And Roland, thank you for the interpretation. And I don't know if anyone else is interpreting, but I don't know if Violet's on or anyone else, but we're very thankful. Thank you to Jayla that's doing the slide deck.
Not having spelling
Patrick.
errors.
And all of you guys. We're very, very thankful for everyone. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. What else do we say?
Kwanzaa, Festivus.
Kwanzaa, Festivus. Happy time with your family. That's what we want to say. We're
Even
so
if you don't like them. There was a study that just came out earlier I was reading about that Americans can't stand their relatives more than 4 hours. And we're locked inside with our kids for 8 days.
We
What?
love it. We love it. Bye, everyone.
Have so much fun, guys. Bye.
Well, my friends.